Day one preview of the Royal Ascot meeting. What a week ahead we have, lads. Just going to take a look at tomorrow's card, and also I'm going to add in an accumulator with one that's running on Wednesday. I'll come to that in a second. I did pick out a lucky 15, and each way lucky 15 for day one. Some really nice prices. We have a 3 to 1, 18 to 1, 9 to 1, and 7 to 1. So stay tuned for that. First, I just want to touch on the accumulator and some of the really good races on the cards with some of the very good horses that are running. So we kick it off tomorrow in the 2:30, and it's all about Baaeed here, lads, in the Queen Anne. What a horse he has been. Absolutely monstrous. And to be honest, there's no point even going into any other angle, because Baaeed will just destroy them with a clean run, and even with a troubled run. If he gets out anytime, he'll still win. Right, I do think we could go on around, like I spent all the last 10 minutes before the race in Newbury trying to pick horses to beat this horse on ITV. Absolutely nonsense. Baaeed, he was a steal for this race. He was even money all year. He's 2 to 9 on the day, and he should win with the minimum of fuss. So I'm not even going to mention any other horse. Right, so Baaeed is going to go into that accumulator, lads. I just want to give you this accumulator, or is it a treble? It pays just under 4 to 1. I think it's 3.75 to 1. So just bear with me. So we're going to go Coroebus, Baaeed, and we're going to go Baybridge. So Coroebus is out to 8 to 11. I think he's a cracking bet at 8 to 11. I think he's by far the best horse in the race. My Prospero definitely looks a really good horse, but he looks to me like he could be a lot better. Maybe like, what's that good 10 furlong race in Sandown, the Coral Eclipse? Or he looks to me like he might even get better with a middle distance trip. So I just think Coroebus has some unexposed horses in behind him, but I just think he's going to be too fast, too good for these horses. I really do. I think he's 8 to 11. The Guineas was not a fluke. He was always the best horse. I'd say if you ever want to take on a horse the next day, take on Native Trail. Excuse me. Don't take on Coroebus. Apologies, lads and ladies. Very bad chest infection. But I have to get this out to the community, right? So we have to go on. Right, so Coroebus, Baaeed, and Baybridge on Wednesday. Wait, I'll just pull it up. The Prince of Wales Stakes on Wednesday. He is 6 to 5. So we're going to go Baaeed, Coroebus, and Baybridge in a treble. I think it's a really nice treble. I think Baybridge looks a horse of serious potential. Yes, you have the Japanese in here. State of Rest, yeah, looks decent horse as well. But I just think what Baybridge did the last day, he looked like he just stepped up another level on his form, which was very progressive already. Typical Sir Michael Stout. So if we're waiting on him for the treble, I'd be very happy indeed. So yeah, back to Tuesday's cards. Hopefully I'll feel a bit better tomorrow, and we might be able to do something else, and maybe an in-depth look again tomorrow evening at the rest of the week. But I just want to get this out to you, this each way lucky 15. Right, there's loads of value, lads, with different bookies paying places and things like that. So make sure and try and get the best value, get the best places. Right, for now we kick it off in the 305 in the Coventry with Persian Force at 3 to 1. I just think that he has a really good mentality. He's been very professional his first 2 starts. And I think the way he gets ridden, there'll be no pressure. Top class jockey on board, Rossa Ryan. We had Rossa on as a guest last year on the Ascot preview. And I think Rossa can take his time here with no pressure on a horse that travels really well, and hopefully come with a decent run late. Will he be good enough? It's hard to know, but I want to be with him for the reason of his run style, his mentality, And Ammo Racing only throw the one bullet here, I think. Or they might have another one in different colours. Let me see. Yeah, no, they have a remarkable force they're involved in as well. But you do think Persian Force looked very good in the Brocklesby. Plenty of winners came out of that. And he stepped up to 6 furlongs in a muddling race, but he got it done in style. So definitely an interesting horse tomorrow. Blackbeard, Ace of Kings, all decent horses. There's another Royal Scotsman looked very impressive the last day. Rousing Encore, Richard Fatty, definitely won his last two. Usheen Noor could definitely have an each way chance. But for now, I'm sticking with Persian Force, and that's the first one in the Lucky 15. Then we move on to the 340, the King's Stand, for the second selection in the Lucky 15. This is an 18-1 shot. It's called Moonista. This is a real progressive filly, and what a day this will be for the connections. Colin Keane booked the ride, and there's nothing wrong with her form at all, lads. The last day, she travelled really well. We have the Aussies here, we have the Americans here, we have Golden Pal, an absolute airplane. However, it didn't work out for him twice in England before. I backed him when he was in Ascot as a 2-year-old. It was the most painful day of my life. He drifted out to a massive price, and I absolutely whacked him. And the ground went softened on the day, and he looked for all money. He was home, and he just weakened out, but he was run down by the Learjet. However, Golden Pal is obviously top class, and if everything goes right for him, he is the horse to beat. Natural Strip, the Australian horse, won nearly £9 million in prize money. Excuse me. Can be hit or miss at the gate. Clearly, when the Aussies come here with a sprinter of this caliber, you have to take note. But he can get around at the gate a few times. He's missed the break a few times. King's Lynn ran well in this last year when he was unlucky, but this race last year was a farce of a race. There was an unmerciful pace burn up, and it fell into the lap of horse Oxted. And this lad was staying on. He was unlucky. But anyway, my selection's only a 4-year-old filly, Moonista. It will be tough for her, but Colin Keane's on board, and I think with the perfect ride, she can run a perfect race and at a massive price, go very, very close. Hopefully take it down. We have Winter Power goes forward. We have plenty of pace in here. Logo Hunter is an interesting runner at 50-1, but if the ground is quick, they should not run this horse. Only run him just don't run this horse on good firm ground. He's better horse with cutting the ground. Seems to not just be the same horse on it. Anyway, Moonista, the second one in the each way Lucky. And then we move on. Then we already touched on the good race with Coroebus. We move on to the 5 o'clock. The 5 o'clock at Ascot. Bring on the night. This is a 9-2 shot. This is the third one in our each way Lucky 15. Right. Very, very interesting horse, lads. His hurdles career was very rushed. He won in Naas. He was very raw, but very impressive. I'd say there's an absolute monstrous engine in here, lads. And I'm not shocked to see that this is the horse Willie Mullins brings there, because he won in Naas on his hurdling debut amongst a lot of greenness, but he showed this really big engine up the straight, like a kind of freaky factor where he could be very, very good. He then went to Cheltenham all too quick from, and he then ran in Punchestown or Fairyhouse, and just draw a line through it. Just forget about it. He probably shouldn't have went to Cheltenham. He was too raw, but there is only one Supreme Novices hurdle. He won impressive amongst a lot of greenness, and maybe they thought, look, let's just go for it and maybe remap after that. But it was the wrong decision in hindsight, because he just wasn't ready for it. But I do think, lads, this horse could be a bit of a freak. And he could be very, very good. Whether he ever shows that hurdling, I don't know. But I'm willing to bet on him tomorrow to say that he might show it in Ascot on the flat. So let's bring on the night in the 5 o'clock, 9-2. That's the third one. There's loads of places in these race, lads. Get it. And then in the 5:35, I just want to dig into this race, lads. Right. So the 5:35, the Wolverton Stakes, a listed race. I'm going to go with Cadillac. 7-1, right? And I'm going to go with him begrudgingly, to be honest. But he always promised to be a decent horse. He won a rejects race in Leopard, terrible race he won in Leopardstown. A lot of them had a lot of questions to answer. And, it's risky. Everyone, I seen an article the next day, Cadillac is back. Cadillac beat a bunch of rejects the last day. Like, you had Patrick Sarsfield, who just is the most disappointing horse in racing. He blew out. You had, Georgieville is a decent old horse, but he's just not to the real top level. And then you had an outsider finishing third. But the one thing I will say about Cadillac is he did look to be very good. The quick ground, he won't mind the quick ground. And the stable has hit top form. Now, I'm going to go down through the race here a little bit more. So, Juan Elcano, he won in Ascot last year, I think. He beat Patrick Sarsfield. It's an early horse. Hanoverian, definitely interested in came to his best. Parrotto, an improving 4-year-old, but the trip, will he stay? The trip is strong. He won over a mile, but he is an interesting runner. If he could get the trip. Majestic Dawn ran a kind of a weird race in Goodwood, ran away in front and managed to hang on. Regal Reality, definitely interesting if he came back to his best. Fox's Tales, Andrew Baldwin should not run on him on good to firm ground. If they do, whatever. He's a very good horse. He landed a massive touch for me in Ascot last year when he won one of the big handicaps. He absolutely bolted in. And I just think he's a better horse on soft ground. He's a real soft ground horse. So hopefully they take him out if the ground's good to firm. And I was just going through the race. And the reason I've gone with Cadillac is because the yard's in form. Yes, he won a fucking egg and spoon race in the Curragh or in Leopardstown. But he's only a 4-year-old and he promised to be very good in the past. So that's it. I'm going with him. He's risky. I wouldn't be surprised if he came last, and I wouldn't be surprised if he bolted in, because it's not a really, really good race, and it's a hard race to call. Regal Reality has some really good back form, but he's a 7-year-old. Tasman Bay could be interesting. Sir Mark Todd's 12-1. Look, it's just one of them races. Cadillac has a decent draw on 3. Should be able to get a good position. The blinkers are on. They were on him the last day. Like I said, he was an impressive winner of a bad race, but he did have a good enough time, though. I think he ran a good clock the last day. So that's the 4 for the each way lucky 15 tomorrow. Persian Force, Moonista, Bring on the Night, and Cadillac. Hope you enjoyed this, lads. I will do a bit more. We have a lot of strong bets gone out on the Patreon service. And they're coming up. Thursday is a massive day on the Patreon service. Some really strong bets gone out. I think we'll be disappointed if we don't collect a lot of money, and they're being well backed. Anyway, we got some really nice value, some really interesting horses, a great week of racing ahead. Apologise for a little bit under the weather, a real bad chest infection, but looking forward to this lucky 15. It is Ascot. Bet safe, bet fun. You could be washed out. But remember, there's a long week ahead. All right, take care and enjoy the week.